Hello everyone, this is Election Watch Analysis here again from the video. Today I'll be discussing my 2024 prediction with Governor Ron DeSantis and incumbent President Joe Biden. Okay, so at the Conservative Political Action Conference recently, they always have an annual straw poll. Donald Trump, of course, dominated the first ballot with him on, and in the second one, without Donald Trump, Ron DeSantis was actually the #1 candidate, beating out Kristi Noem by a very large margin. Okay, so CPAC straw poll is not a crystal ball. It does not accurately predict who will be the nominee. But what it does show is that Ron DeSantis is strong with the Trump base. And the reason why I have the Florida gubernatorial election in 2018 up is really, really important key data point. Sorry, it took me so long to forget that word. So as you can see here in area type, urban, suburban, and rural, of course, Andrew Gillum, his opponent, won the urban areas by about 15%, and DeSantis dominated in the rural areas, as usually is in elections. DeSantis actually won the suburban vote by about 8%. And if this holds true in 2024, it shows that Ron DeSantis can straddle the Trump base. He can get them on his side, but he also has support among the suburban voters. And if he can harness that across the country, he can win back states like Georgia and Arizona, and even improve in other states where the suburbs are shifting to the left. And this is very, very important if Republicans want to win the nationwide elections again. The suburbs and the urban and rural centers are both very solidly for one party, both Republicans and Democratic. And you could kind of see the suburbs as a middle. A lot of suburbs were Republican for a very long time, but they've been shifting to the left, causing victories for Democrats in certain states that were not possible before. And again, as I said before, Republicans need to nominate someone who can win in the suburbs. In 2024, it's pretty likely that Donald Trump will run again, but he's not a very good candidate for the suburbs. He lost them, and his supporters like Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue lost them in their own Senate races. And I don't think Donald Trump would be a good candidate at all in 2024. I think he'd lose the Republicans yet another election. But Ron DeSantis may actually be Joe Biden's strongest challenger. So I'll get on with the prediction right now. Starting off with the safe Pacific Coast states and for the Democrats, and of course the safe East Coast states, also for the Democrats. Not much will change. I don't think Ron DeSantis can make any of these states particularly close. The two states I think I'll go more in depth with are Colorado and New Mexico. Colorado went by 13% for Joe Biden, which counts as a safe margin in my book. I think that was a very large victory, and I didn't quite see it coming. I thought it'd be about 10% in Colorado, though I'm not quite sure. I'd have to check my prediction again. But still, it's a safe state that has grown Democratic by quite a large margin in the past few years. Just looking at as you can see, historical elections. I'm sorry that I'll have to edit in my margins here on this website. 1.5 for lean. Okay, there you go. As you can see, Colorado was safe, and in 2016 it was lean about 5%. So it's been growing Democratic. I think that, and New Mexico also is growing quite to the left in recent years. Though in 2016 there's a very large percent of the vote taken up by Libertarian Gary Johnson, who's a former governor of New Mexico. Hillary Clinton still won by about 8.2%. So could Ron DeSantis make inroads with Latino voters? That's an interesting possibility, but I think overall, I'm going to put, so sorry to put Wyoming in blue. It's a very cursed image. I think I'd have to put both these states as safe. I don't think Ron DeSantis could stymie any of the Democratic domination of these two states recently. I also think that Virginia will also get to maybe 13 to 14%, just because it's been growing blue as well. In 2016, it was 5.3%, and it almost doubled in 2020 by about it went to 10% for Joe Biden. Other states, I think will be safe. Maine's 1st district has been pretty solid for the Democrats. I think they'll put that as the Democratic safe states. For Ron DeSantis, I think he'll win Utah, Idaho, Wyoming. Montana was 16% in 2016, 2020, which isn't a likely state. and it is possible that Joe Biden could win this game with some voters, but I don't think that he will against Ron DeSantis, so I think that would remain safe. Kansas was also about 14%, it was pretty close, but that's because of the suburbs, and I think that Ron DeSantis will do better with the suburbs, giving that state to him by probably about 15% at the least. South Carolina was also a barely just a likely state, and about 11.7 for Donald Trump. So I think that Ron DeSantis would also improve there. Also, regional differences. Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, so I think he'd just do slightly better there to get it over 12%. Otherwise, he'd win all these states safe. And Alaska, I'm not quite sure about, since it went about 10.1% for Donald Trump. I think Ron DeSantis could make inroads in the Juneau suburbs, just enough to win by about 12%, but also could go to like 11%. I don't think Joe Biden will do particularly better there. Okay, that's it for the safe states. Now going to the likely states for Democrats. Maine at large, it went about 10% for Joe Biden. About 9% actually. I think it will be a similar margin. And Nebraska's second went about 6.6%. I think that Ron DeSantis actually could do better there. So I put that actually as lean. And then I think that'll be it for likely states for the Democrats. For Ron DeSantis, I think that he could win. He could continue to hold on to the populace and the farmers in Iowa, and I'll give that. I think I'd give that to him by about a 6 or 7 point victory. Maybe not Trumpian levels, but he'd still do pretty well there. In addition, I think Texas will. Well, actually, I was about to say might be a likely state, but I think just because of the voter turnout operation that Democrats are likely to put in place across the country and changing demographics, I actually might put it as lean, like 4%. I'm also debating putting Florida as a likely state, but I don't think Ron DeSantis could do nearly that well, even in a state that he's a popular governor of. Okay, that should be it for likely states, unless I'm considering Ohio. I think I actually will put it in the likely column, just because Ron DeSantis will probably be able to win back some suburban voters, and I think it also put Maine's 2nd district as likely. Okay, there we have it. All the likely states filled out. Now heading into lean states. I think that Minnesota will be lean just because it's went about like 7% for Joe Biden. It'd be pretty hard for Ron DeSantis to win back that many voters to make the state particularly close. So I put that as lean, bringing Joe Biden to 220 electoral votes. New Hampshire as well. It also went to Joe Biden by likely margin. I think Ron DeSantis could make some inroads with certain voters, but not enough to make it close in any way. Okay, that should be it for lean states. For Joe Biden, I think Ron DeSantis will win Florida by about 4% if he does particularly well and continues to remain popular. Donald Trump won it by about 3.4%, so maybe even more. Best case would be 5%, but I'm putting it at like 4%. I think that'd be the most likely scenario. Okay, I also think that North Carolina will be lean, and this is I think this might be kind of a controversial call since, but actually, North Carolina was 1.3% for Trump, 0.2% away from a lean margin. It was actually went about 3.7% for Donald Trump in 2016. I think that Ron DeSantis will make more inroads with suburban voters to win the state by about 3% or maybe up to 2%. It really depends if Joe Biden pays a ton of attention to North Carolina, campaigns there more than he did in 2020. Of course, I don't think Roy Cooper will be there to maybe even help Joe Biden, but if people will decide not to go to split ticket voting in the presidential level and gubernatorial level, that is. Okay. For Joe Biden, Ron DeSantis. I'm getting a little mixed up here. Okay, so I think all the other states will be tilt at this point. So I think that Joe Biden will win Michigan by either a tilt or a lean margin. I'm not quite sure which, just because he won it by about 2.8%. But it's really it's hard to say if Ron DeSantis can make inroads with voters there. If he can win back some of the voters that Trump lost in 2020 that he won in 2016. Joe Biden could get about 2%, maybe 1.5%. I'm going to put it as tilt. I think he'll win it by about 1%. And I think he'll also win Pennsylvania by about a little under 1%. It's kind of hard to say the exact margin at this point, but it will be over, I think, about 0.5% at the least, 1% at the most. And then Nevada will be difficult because Ron DeSantis could also have some appeal there. But I think it will go to Joe Biden by another tilt margin. And actually, at this point, I'm going to put Michigan as lean. I think it'll be about 1.6%. Sorry, I changed my mind on you guys like that. Nevada, I don't think Ron DeSantis can win back nearly enough Latino voters to take the state. Joe Biden won it by about 2.4%, while Hillary Clinton won it by about actually the same margin. So I don't think that Ron DeSantis will win it, but I think he'll come closer, maybe up to 1%. Okay, that puts Joe Biden 264 electoral votes. He'd have to win only one of the remaining states. But it's really up to Ron DeSantis to see if he can actually take a state in the Rust Belt like Wisconsin. Okay, so I think Ron DeSantis could win Georgia by a really narrow margin, probably Joe Biden level, like under 0.5%. It's trending blue, but Ron DeSantis is from Florida. He could maybe energize voters with suburban voters for one thing if he appeals to them enough. He could bring out the Trump base that did not vote for Kelly Loeffler or David Perdue as much in the runoffs. And he's from Florida. He could also have a regional appeal. That's entirely possible. And in Arizona, I'm not sure. It's entirely possible that Ron DeSantis wins it, though Joe Biden, sorry, I almost said Donald Trump, won it by about 0.3% in 2020. I'm mixing up 2016 and 2020. He won it by about 0.3% in 2020. So, Joe Biden could win it again. I don't think he will, though, and I think Ron DeSantis will win it by another small margin, even though it's trending blue. That puts both of the candidates at 264 electoral votes. And it all comes down to the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin voted very narrowly for Joe Biden, about 0.63%. It voted by about 0.76% for Donald Trump. This is going to be a really, really close state. I don't know. I'm not quite sure who's going to win it because it's trending red overall, I'd say, because it went to Obama by about 7% in 2012, then went to Donald Trump, and then flipped back. Either way, I think it's trending red and trending to the right, so I think that'd be easier for Ron DeSantis to win it. But I think that Joe Biden, in the end, will take it by a very narrow margin. That will re-elect him as president of the United States. And it will mean that he'll have another 4 years. Ron DeSantis will lose narrowly, but he'll overperform Donald Trump's margins in 2020. This goes to show that Ron DeSantis is probably one of the stronger candidates for the Republicans. I'm not quite sure if any Republican can beat Joe Biden. I mean, it's entirely possible. I'm not sure. It's only 2021, 3 years away from the election. Not even, maybe like 3.5 years, actually. So it's very, very difficult to say who can win, and I think that this prediction my prediction for this closer to the election would be far different than it is now. But that's it, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for watching because I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, drop a like down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to check out the video on the left. It is tailored to your personal likes on YouTube by the YouTube algorithm. So check that out. If you like that video, like it as well. Leave a comment in the comment section down below telling me your thoughts. Who is the strongest Republican candidate? Can Ron DeSantis beat Joe Biden? Tell me all that in the comment section down below. Check out the description for the link to the Discord. And join it. I'm active pretty often on there. Sorry I had a dry voice. I've had a raspy voice today in this video. I apologize for that. But I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.